It was the night of the benevolent burglars' latest heist, in which they aimed to return stolen paintings to their rightful owners. The paintings were being hidden in the basement of the city's largest museum, and the plan was to sneak into the museum just before closing time, secure the artwork, and exit the premises undetected. The benevolent burglars successfully exited the museum. However, in the chaos of the heist, a guard was knocked over into a display case as the benevolent burglars made their escape. In the hours that followed, the victim reported to police that he remembered seeing 4 different people in the area around the time of the incident, but did not know which of them had passed by his post. The detectives were able to obtain 2 distinct pieces of hair from the exact area where the victim was injured. Those pieces were analyzed using DNA fingerprinting, a technique in which DNA fragments are separated in order to identify different DNA sequences. For the DNA fingerprinting that the detectives conducted, VNTRs, or variable number of tandem repeats, were isolated from the DNA from the crime scene. A VNTR is an area on a gene where a particular short DNA sequence is repeated, thus making it available to be separated using site-specific enzyme restrictors. These pieces of DNA are known as DNA fragments, as they are incomplete pieces of a larger strand of DNA. To use these sequences, the DNA was then amplified or multiplied using polymerase chain reaction, or PCR, to provide an ample amount of DNA for each sample. The next step involves the process of gel electrophoresis. For this process, the samples containing the DNA fragments were placed into the wells at the negative pole of a gel medium. Since DNA molecules are negatively charged due to the negatively charged phosphate groups they contain, the electrical current running through the gel allows the negative DNA fragments to migrate toward the positive pole of the gel. The smaller fragments of DNA migrate faster toward the positive electrode than the larger fragments, resulting in the separation of the fragments within the gel. The following images show the results of these tests. From the first VNTR locus, the detectives determined that the first hair's DNA matched the victim's hair sample, but did not match any of the suspect's DNA samples. Thus, it could not belong to one of the suspects. The second hair, however, matches suspect 4 as well as one fragment from suspect 1, making it possible that hair 2 could belong to one of the 2 suspects, and ruling out suspects 2 and 3. The second VNTR locus confirms that hair 1 belongs to the victim, as it matches completely. However, this locus rules out the remaining 2 suspects, as neither of their DNA fragments match the hair 2 sample. Ultimately, the detectives concluded that none of the 4 suspects, who turned out to be the members of the benevolent burglars, were responsible for the injury of the guard. Instead, they began investigating the possibility that another individual was in the area after hours and knocked the guard into the display. Despite the heist not going as smoothly as planned, the benevolent burglars ultimately achieved their goal, as the detectives were able to work with the burglars and the museum to return the paintings to their rightful owners. Thank you for watching.